Hi guys, Mayflom here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you just a couple of quick tips here. So these are little thin dies. Great thing about these, you can get these from a number of companies. These happen to be scrapbook.com exclusives, and these are fun little banners. They've got stars. They've got all kinds of different designs. And what I love about this, first of all, the way I store these are two different ways actually. Number one, you can put them up on a magnet. In other words, have a magnet wall and clip these up so that they're always up and easy to access. My other suggestion, and the way that I more commonly store them, is on a binder ring. Okay, so I have a drawer. I don't have a ton of dies. If I'm gonna have some dies, they have been replacing my punches though, just because I find them a lot less bulky, a lot easier to store. So I have a little drawer where they live. So you can see here what I can do, and I can line them all up if I really want to, but big to small, if they're on a ring, they don't get lost. I know where they are and they're easy to access. So that's my favorite way to store them. But let's talk about using them. So to cut these out, you just need some kind of machine that will die cut, such as a Big Shot or whatever you have that you like and use to cut out your own dies. And you just pick your die, pick your paper. I tend to cut cut a piece of paper out and have a little extra, there's a little extra here. These extra bits I don't get rid of. I'll turn these into either more punch shapes, more die cut shapes, run them through my scan and cut. I'll do something with them. But you can run them through and cut them out however many you want. When it's a basic shape like this, I like to cut out extra. So you can see I've got a whole bunch cut out here. Here's the inside of this one. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch cut out because I'm looking at my pictures, I'm looking at my papers that I want to use for this particular page. In this case, I'm using the new Maggie Holmes line from Crate Paper called Carousel. There's so much fun. I've went and found pictures from a Disney World vacation that I wanted to use that I thought that these colors would work well with. And then I cut things out. So I will point out to you what I did here. What I did here was to simply cut out two sizes of banners. Here you can see, let's see, nope, that's not it. I know I get to play which one is it. So what I did, really easy, and honestly, this is a lot of fun. Put these two on the paper. And here's the actual paper too. Put these two down on the paper like so. Get them all lined up the way you want them. If you need to, I would recommend it, a couple pieces of washi tape. Now what I like to do with the washi tape when I'm going to do something like this, I'll touch it a few times with my fingers to kind of de-stickify it, make it a little less sticky. And once everything is lined up the way I want it, I will put just a couple pieces of washi tape down, just enough so that it holds it in place. Run it through the machine, get it cut out, and look, because I did two of them, now I've got this thin outline. And the reason I did that is it does a couple things. Well, first of all, we've got this fun middle piece that I can use somewhere else. And as I said before, I don't hesitate. If I've got the machine out, if I've got the dies out, I'm going to go ahead and cut. If I've got everything already out here, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut up a storm so that the next time I want to use these dies, the next time I have an idea, all I have to do is I can open the drawer where I keep all my pre-cut dies or dies that didn't get used, open that drawer and look through and go, oh, look, this paper, that'll work, and use it. It's a great way to save time. And batch producing stuff is always something that's great to me. So then this cream cardstock is just the next size up. So this is 3 different sizes of this die set. There's 1, the outline of this one is 2, the inside line of this one is 3. And I want this for my journaling. So for a scrapbook page like this, and for using a lot of dies, and I have also used, and you can see them around, I used the very smallest size of this die to cut out a bunch of pieces of this same piece of paper. I've got a couple of them over here too, I believe. Yep, there's a few more. So I've got a bunch of these cut out to make some little tiny banners on my page. So those we can set aside for right now. And then I've got these die cuts. These are all from the Carousel line. These are just pre-made die cuts, which I'm also a fan of because they save time, they're fun, and unlike stickers, you can position them and play with them for a while on the page and see what works. So it's a little less stress, it's a little less pressure. So what we've got going on here, I've got 3 4x6 photos. I know I want them straight across, and I want this layered to be my journaling. Now here's a couple of tips. Number one, if I had known exactly what size I wanted this to be first, when I went to cut my papers out, and I'll pull this plain cream paper out as a for example, I didn't have to actually cut the full amount of paper. I could have set my die down and only cut this much. So just a tip for saving paper. As you can see, about half of this is not going to be seen. If you do a little pre-planning, if you already know, okay, well, I only want this much at the most, you can slide your die up to the edge and just cut partial so that you are saving a bit of paper. Now, that doesn't always make sense, but I bring it up just because I'm always looking for, you know, tips and tricks to kind of save supplies, save budget. So these are going to go here, and you might notice I haven't pulled glue out. That's because I'm a really strong believer in let's set up the page, let's set up the design before we bring the glue out. That way we can know what do we like, what do we not like, what are we fans of, what do we want more of, what do we want less of. So I'm just going to play around with these papers, and I'm just going to figure out what I would like personally to see, and where I want my little banners and all of my decorative elements. So I know that I will put my journaling right here. I don't have a ton to say on this page, so I didn't need a lot of space, but I'll put my journaling right here. And then I just need to decide what else would I like? What else would I like to see? Where would I like to see another little banner? Would I like to see another little banner down here? What else would work for this? What else do I think would be really great for this? And then that's when I just play around. Now I like this happiness is here pre-made die cut. That could be my title. You know, I like this little heart. We could have this little heart in here somewhere. I'm just going to play around, guys. I'm just going to tuck little things here and there and see what appeals to me as I create. And there's no pressure because there's no glue. If I do something and then go, oh goodness, that's terrible, well, that's okay. Guess what? We just don't use that. We just, you know, carry on, move on, do something else. If I put something down and go, oh, wow, I love that, well, then that can obviously stay because we know that we like it. We see that it works well. So it stays, so we keep it. And you can just kind of play around with all those different layers. I really like using one block of photos and then having kind of along the edges, having little decorative bits. Now, once I'm happy with this, we glue it all down, add the journaling, and then we just get ready for some finishing touches. Once everything is glued down, and by the way, I used my favorite pen here, my Micron 05, it's an archival ink pen, but I used it here and there to edge a couple things, as you can see here, just to give it a little contrast, a little pop. You'll see me do a lot of work with my sewing machine, but right now my sewing machine is packed up and I don't want to have to unbury it. So I'm just doing other stuff. And now I've got some little buttons here, and I've also got some gold embroidery thread. I'm going to show you how I'm doing this. So I love gold embroidery thread as an embellishment. It's just so pretty. It's very difficult to actually thread and work with, but it makes fantastic embellishments for cards, for layouts, for mixed media projects, for all kinds of fun stuff. So what I like to do with it is tie it in and just get a knot going. And in this case, I've got kind of a loop at one end, and then just take some scissors and trim it up, trim pieces off if there's a loop. You know, cut those off, trim it as much or as little as you want. You can see here's a longer one. It's just a fun little embellishment. It adds a little bit of texture. I'm going to add some over here to my page. And yes, that's a good sized lump. This is PPA, which is a matte finish archival adhesive that I strongly recommend using because it's really good for scrapbooking. Won't mess up any of your stuff. You know, won't get anything yucky, won't hurt anything. And then I'll just kind of play with that there. And you see I added gold letters here on the trail. Happiness is here. Now I just go around, and if there's any actual dimensional embellishments, if I want any further stickers, I was thinking about up here putting some gold thread, like kind of hanging it along here, but Yeah, you know what? I think I will go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this off. It's going to be a little bit messy because of the way I'm doing it. I am okay with that. I do not mind that at all. If you do mind it, well, then there's other ways to go about this. You don't have to do it in a messy sort of way. That's just the way that I'm going about it. So I'm going to put some adhesive along here. I like this. Like I said, it's great for scrapbooking because it's archival and it's going to dry clear. We just have to let it dry. And I like how that looks. I think that's going to be cute. And once it is totally dry, I will go in and trim off any excess. Like I said before, if there are buttons that we want to put down, this would be the time to do so. I like adding in little bits and pieces of dimensional after I've got all the flat stuff down, because that's when I know what's going to go where. That's when I have a better sense of what I have space for, where I feel like it'll work best for my design. If anything needs a little more glue, I can certainly do that. And have fun with it, guys. This was really a pretty simple page to put together despite all the stuff. Again, as you can see with my design, we've got the photos across and then stuff coming off the top and bottom. Loving these little banner dies. I see so many possibilities for using them, and a thanks to scrapbook.com for sending them my way so I could see what kind of fun I could get up to. You're going to see them again. I've got a couple of banner projects that I want to do, and some of which I think will be good in these shapes. So definitely stay tuned for that, and be sure if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video, or if you're watching over my blog, or both, feel free to subscribe there as well so you can get all my posts. Final thing, if you wanted a little extra sparkle, there's already enough for me, but if you wanted to, say, get some glitter glue, maybe you have those little enamel dots that you can use. There's lots of different ways to repeat elements, which is, for scrapbooking, for me, is a good thing. Repeating sparkle, repeating color patterns, that kind of thing. It helps bring it all together. So if you wanted to add a couple little droplets of glitter glue, of mist, whatever you might like, I'm good with this where it is. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I'll see you next time.